You ever see something from a huge global brand and just wonder what on earth they were thinking? Well, that's exactly what happened when McDonald's tried to get futuristic with their Christmas ad and ended up serving a complete digital disaster. Let's get into how this AI-powered campaign became a holiday mess they'd probably love to forget.
And when I say it was a mess, I'm not kidding. The public reaction was instant and it was brutal. Social media absolutely did not hold back, and this comment pretty much sums up the vibe. This wasn't just a little misstep. For a lot of people, this was a spectacular five-alarm fire of a failure.
All right, so let's set the scene. The date is December 6th, 2023. McDonald's in the Netherlands rolls out their big holiday ad. But here's the twist. The entire 45-second spot was created using generative AI. And that one decision? It was the spark that lit the whole firestorm.
Okay, first up, let's talk about what the ad was actually trying to do. And then we'll get into how it all went so wrong, so fast.
The funny thing is, the idea behind it all was pretty clever. The slogan was this ironic twist, the most terrible time of the year. And it was meant to show all those little holiday disasters we can all relate to, right? Burnt food, broken decorations, family squabbles. The whole point was to position McDonald's as that easy, stress-free escape. A solid concept, you have to admit. But the execution? Yeah, that was a whole other story.
And this timeline just shows you how quickly the wheels came off. The ad goes live on December 6th. For the next 48 hours, the online backlash is just immediate and overwhelming. And by December 9th, yep, just 3 days later, McDonald's yanked the ad completely. Poof, gone.
So why? What was it about this ad that made people so angry? Let's dive into exactly what went wrong.
So, the outrage really boiled down to two big things. First, you had the look of the ad. People were just throwing around words like creepy, uncanny, and poorly edited. It just looked weird. But then, there was this much deeper ethical issue. What does an ad like this mean for the jobs of actual human beings in the creative world?
And that creepy feeling? There's a name for that. It's called the uncanny valley. It's that deeply unsettling feeling you get when you see something that looks almost human, but your brain can just tell something is off. It's not real enough to be real, but it's not cartoony enough to be a cartoon. It's just stuck in the middle. And boy, did this ad set up camp right in the heart of that valley.
But it wasn't just about the weird visuals. This quote from Instagram, man, it just hits the nail on the head for the other side of the outrage. People in the creative industry, and a lot of viewers too, saw this as a really scary sign of things to come. The thought of actors, directors, and camera crews being replaced by an AI prompt, that sparked some very real fear and anger.
So, the ad's been pulled, the internet is buzzing. What happens next? Well, the companies involved had to try and clean up the mess. Time for some damage control.
McDonald's Netherlands came out with, well, a pretty classic corporate response. They basically framed it as a big learning opportunity, a necessary stumble on their journey to figure out how to use AI. It was the standard, oops, our bad, we're learning kind of statement. But the production company that made the ad, they had a very different take. Their CEO came out swinging, pushing back hard against the idea that this was just some cheap AI trick. She was adamant this wasn't a trick, it was a film.
And to back that up, she explained that this wasn't just some button-pushing exercise. She talked about a team working for 7 weeks through sleepless nights, generating thousands of takes, and then painstakingly editing them together. They were really trying to argue that there was a ton of human craft involved, trying to reclaim that human element everyone said was missing.
Okay, so it's easy to just focus on this one disastrous ad, but honestly, this is about way more than just McDonald's. This whole thing is a small piece of a much larger and kind of chaotic experiment happening across the ad world. Let's zoom out a bit.
Just take a look at how different brands are navigating these waters. The results are all over the place. You've got McDonald's, a total PR disaster. Then you've got Coca-Cola, who actually found some success. And then there's a luxury brand like Valentino, which got totally slammed for its AI campaign, with critics calling it lazy and cheap. Let's dig into that Coca-Cola example. They managed to get a 61% positive sentiment score, which, hey, that sounds pretty good, right? A win. But think about that. That means almost 40% of people were either neutral or actively disliked it. So even when an AI ad succeeds, it can still leave a huge chunk of your audience cold.
And on the flip side, you have Valentino. I mean, if you are a high-fashion luxury brand that sells itself on quality and craftsmanship, the absolute last words you ever want associated with your name are cheap and lazy. It's a perfect example that just jumping on the AI trend isn't enough. The final product has to actually feel right for your brand.
So, after all this chaos, what does it all mean? Where is all of this heading for the future of advertising?
Look, here's the bottom line. Using AI in advertising right now is a huge gamble. It's a growing trend for sure, but it is so risky. The public reaction is a total wild card. Brands are trying to be innovative, but they keep slamming into these major roadblocks with aesthetics and ethics. It's a super delicate balancing act, and right now we're all just watching these huge companies learn their lessons in public, very publicly.
And that really leaves us with the big million-dollar question in all of this. As this tech gets better and better, is it going to unlock some amazing new era of creative advertising? Or are we just at the very beginning of a future filled with what some critics are already calling creepy slop? I guess we're all about to find out.